everyone, welcome back to Savvy Looks, where I like to take outdated or damaged secondhand furniture and give it a whole new life. This week I'm working on this dresser that I found on the side of the road. It was in pretty nice shape overall. It did have some deep gouges and scratches on the top along with a burn. The style was a bit outdated and this orange finish was not something that I thought I'd be able to sell as is. It was definitely a bit scuffed up and it had one minorly broken drawer, but overall it was in pretty great shape and I was super excited to start working on it. My first step, as per usual, was removing any of the hardware and cleaning everything really well using a degrease and cleaner before rinsing it all back with water. I also went ahead and removed all of the old drawer liners. Some of them came up easily, some of them were more tricky, but when I can help it, I always prefer to have the wood grain visible on the insides of the drawers. This dresser definitely had quite a few nicks and dings, so I used Belle's Dixie Mud to cover up some of these areas. I used Bondo wood filler a little bit later on to cover up some of the deeper gouges. With the new style I was going for, I decided that I wanted to flatten out the base of the dresser and give it a less traditional feel. To do this, I traced a straight line and used my jigsaw to cut the area flat. Then I used Bondo wood filler, which is a heavy-duty 2-part wood filler, to make any more repairs and fill in the existing hardware holes. I broke out my Orbital sander and Surf Prep sander to sand off any of the wood filler and begin scuff sanding the entire piece. The edges of the side pieces had these sort of trim details that intentionally didn't quite align, but I wasn't the biggest fan of it, so I used my Orbital sander to grind it all down smooth and flush. I used paintable caulking around all of the seams. Next, I measured and drilled new hardware holes so that I could use knobs instead of handles on all of the drawers. Now, to repair the broken drawer, it was pretty simple. This one piece of the side of one of the drawers had just broken off. All I had to do was line the edge with wood glue and insert the dovetailing back in place so that it all lined up. Then I used tape and clamps to hold it in place while the wood glue dried. Alright, on to the fun part. I began priming using Zinzer bin shellac-based primer over the entire surface. Primer serves a couple functions. The first is to act like a first coat of paint, especially if you're painting something a light color, then it can require you to do fewer coats of paint, although in this case I didn't end up doing a lighter color, but it also acts to smooth out the entire surface. I used wood filler in multiple areas on this dresser, so choosing to prime made sure that the entire surface would be one singular texture. The shellac can also block any wood tannins from coming up and staining the wood, although that didn't really end up being a big problem with this specific dresser. Provenance Copper. Okay, for the paint, I decided to do something outside my comfort zone. I used the color Provenance Copper by Melange in their one line. This is sort of a red meets orange meets brown paint color. I saw it circulating a bit online in cool design spaces, so I decided to at least try it out on this piece. I used my Wagner Flexio 3000 spray gun to apply the paint to the surface, using about 3 coats of paint. Let me know down below if you like this paint color. Just wait though, it does look quite a bit different when it's dry than when it's going on. So let me know what you think. I used some really fine grit sandpaper between each coat to make sure that I had a really smooth finish. It's always important to clean off any dust before you keep painting. So Melange's one paint doesn't actually require you to use a top coat, but I always like to use one just to be sure. So I mixed in some of Varathane's Satin top coat into the same container that I had the paint in. This way, a little bit of my paint color tinted the top coat, which helps avoid a cloudy or streaky finish on darker colors. After adjusting the settings, I continued by spraying 3 coats onto the entire surface. Time to take off the tape and add feed and wax, which is arguably the best part of the whole process. I used a Dixie Belle Petite wax brush to apply the feed and wax. For the hardware, I decided to use these round gold knobs that I got off of Amazon, which I think were pretty helpful to completing the whole look. One more look at where this started right after I got it from the side of the road. And here it is now. I hope you enjoyed this process. If you did, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. Thank you so much for watching, and feel free to let me know if you have any video suggestions or projects you want me to do in the future. Also, let me know your thoughts on this color. I'm curious what you think. Thank you so much.